Sociological theory is a framework for understanding social phenomena, relationships, and structures within human societies. It encompasses a range of perspectives and concepts that help explain how individuals and groups interact, how societies function, and how social change occurs. Sociological theories offer insights into various aspects of social life, such as power dynamics, cultural norms, economic systems, and institutions. They provide tools for analyzing social issues, guiding empirical research, and informing policymaking. Globalization theories examine the processes and impacts of increased interconnectedness and interdependence among countries. They explore economic, cultural, political, and technological dimensions, analyzing how global flows shape societies, influence identities, and create both opportunities and inequalities across the world. These theories highlight the complexities and dynamics of global integration. First, let's talk about world systems theory. World systems theory, developed by sociologist Emanuel Wallerstein, offers a macro-level analysis of global inequality and development. It posits that the world is divided into a hierarchical system of core, semi-peripheral, and peripheral countries, each playing distinct roles in the global economy. Core countries, mainly industrialized nations in the global north, dominate and exploit peripheral countries in the global south for cheap labor and resources. Semi-peripheral countries occupy an intermediary position, benefiting from core countries while exploiting peripheral ones. World systems theory emphasizes the historical development of capitalism, colonialism, and imperialism as key factors shaping the global division of labor and wealth. From a sociological perspective, world systems theory highlights the interconnectedness of societies and the unequal power dynamics that underpin global relations. It emphasizes the role of economic structures, political institutions, and cultural ideologies in perpetuating inequalities between nations and within nations. Critics argue that world systems theory oversimplifies global dynamics and overlooks other factors such as agency, culture, and resistance. However, it remains a valuable framework for understanding patterns of development, dependency, and exploitation in the globalized world, informing efforts to address systemic injustices and promote more equitable global relations. Let's now discuss characteristics of periphery countries according to world systems perspective. Periphery countries, according to the world systems perspective, are characterized by dependence on core countries, limited industrialization, and exploitation of natural resources and cheap labor. They often experience economic underdevelopment, poverty, and political instability due to their subordinate position in the global economy. Periphery countries typically have weak institutions, high levels of inequality, and limited access to technology and education. They serve as suppliers of raw materials and low-cost manufacturing for core countries, contributing to the perpetuation of global inequalities and uneven development. Now we'll discuss characteristics of semi-periphery countries according to the world systems perspective. Semi-periphery countries, according to the world systems perspective, occupy an intermediate position between core and periphery countries. They exhibit characteristics of both, with modern level industrialization, economic diversification, and political stability. Semi-periphery countries benefit from trade with core nations while exploiting periphery countries for resources and labor. They may have emerging industries, a growing middle class, and some degree of influence in regional affairs. However, semi-periphery countries still face challenges such as uneven development, dependency on core markets, and vulnerability to economic fluctuations. Their position reflects the complexities and contradictions of the global capitalist system, highlighting the fluidity of power dynamics and economic relations. Now let's describe the characteristics of core countries according to the world systems perspective. Core countries, according to the world systems perspective, are characterized by advanced industrialization, economic dominance, and political stability. They have sophisticated infrastructure, high levels of technology, and diversified economies. Core countries control global trade, finance, and production networks, exerting influence over periphery and semi-periphery nations. They benefit from the exploitation of resources and cheap labor in peripheral countries while maintaining control over markets and capital flows. Core countries typically enjoy high standards of living, social welfare systems, and political power in international affairs. Their economic success is built on the exploitation of global inequalities and the perpetuation of a capitalist system. Now, let's talk about the transnational capital class according to global systems theory. According to the global systems theory, the transnational capitalist class, TCC, refers to a global elite group comprised of individuals and corporations who wield significant economic and political power across national borders. This class transcends traditional national boundaries, operating within a globalized capitalist system to accumulate wealth and influence. Members of the TCC often control key industries, financial institutions, and political networks, shaping global economic policies and perpetuating inequalities. The TCC's interests align with the maintenance and expansion of the capitalist systems, leading to the exploitation of labor, resources, and markets worldwide, further entrenching global hierarchies and disparities. In global systems theory, global cities are key nodes in the global capitalist network, serving as centers of economic, political, and cultural power. These cities, such as New York, London, and Tokyo, are hubs of finance, commerce, and innovation, facilitating the flow of capital, goods, and information across borders. Global cities are characterized by their interconnectedness with other cities worldwide, their concentration of multinational corporations, and their diverse populations. They play a pivotal role in shaping global economic dynamics, influencing trends in urbanization, inequality, and globalization. Global cities epitomize the complex interplay between local contexts and global processes within the world system. In global systems theory, social movements are collective actions that arise in response to global inequalities and injustices perpetuated by the capitalist world system. These movements challenge dominant power structures and advocate for social, economic, and political change on a global scale. Social movements may mobilize around issues such as labor rights, environmental justice, or anti-globalization, seeking to counteract the exploitation and marginalization resulting from capitalist globalization. By organizing across national borders and leveraging transnational networks, social movements aim to challenge the hegemony of the global capitalist class and promote alternatives that prioritize human welfare and environmental sustainability within the world system. Global culture, from a sociological perspective, refers to the interconnected system of shared meanings, values, beliefs, and practices that transcend national boundaries and shape identities and behaviors on a global scale. It is characterized by cultural flows, exchanges, and hybridizations facilitated by advancements in communication, transportation, and media technologies. Global culture encompasses diverse cultural norms, including languages, religions, cuisines, arts, and popular culture, which are disseminated and consumed across continents. Sociologists analyze how global culture influences social norms, lifestyles, and identities, impacting individuals' sense of belonging and collective consciousness. Cultural globalization leads to both homogenization and diversification, as local traditions are both preserved and transformed through interactions with global influences. Moreover, global culture reflects power dynamics within Western, capitalist, and consumerist values, often dominating global cultural flows and shaping patterns of consumption and social hierarchies. Critically, sociologists examine the impact of global culture on social inequalities, cultural imperialism, and resistance movements. They explore how globalized media, advertising, and consumerism shape perceptions of beauty, success, and happiness, often reinforcing inequalities based on race, gender, class, and nationality. Understanding global culture is crucial for understanding the complexities and contradictions of contemporary societies and promoting cultural diversity, social justice, and intercultural dialogue within the globalized world. Rationalization, within the context of global culture, refers to the increasing dominance of rational, efficient, and standardized forms of organization, knowledge, and behavior worldwide. It is driven by the spread of capitalist values, bureaucratic structures, and technological advancements which prioritize predictability, control, and productivity. Rationalization leads to the standardization of practices, the bureaucratization of institutions, and the commodification of goods and services, shaping social interactions and shaping cultural landscapes. However, rationalization also fosters disenchantment, alienation, and erosion of traditional values and meanings, as rationalized systems prioritize efficiency over human connection and meaning. Bureaucracies as iron cages is a concept coined by sociologist Max Weber to describe the rigid and dehumanizing nature of bureaucratic organizations resulting from rationalization. As bureaucracies become increasingly rationalized, they prioritize efficiency, predictability, and control over human needs and values. This leads to the creation of hierarchical structures, rules, and procedures that constrain individual autonomy and creativity. The metaphor of the iron cage suggests that individuals within bureaucratic systems are trapped or confined by the impersonal and mechanistic nature of these organizations, limiting their ability to deviate from established norms or pursue alternative paths. Consequently, bureaucratic organizations can stifle innovation, hinder flexibility, and foster alienation among employees, contributing to feelings of disillusionment and frustration. Our next theory is Globalscapes theory by Arun Appadurai. This theory offers a framework for understanding globalization as a process shaped by the flows of people, ideas, technologies, and cultures across borders. Appadurai identifies 5 distinct scapes or dimensions of global flow: ethnoscape, technoscape, financescape, mediascape, and ideoscape. Ethnoscape refers to the movement of people, including migrants, tourists, refugees, and diasporas, whose mobility is shaped by factors such as politics, economics, and culture. Technoscape involves the global circulation of technologies such as information technology and transportation, which facilitate connections and exchanges across distances. Financescape encompasses the flow of capital, investments, and financial instruments across national boundaries, influencing economic systems and global inequalities. Mediascapes involves the dissemination of images, narratives, and information through mass media and communication technologies, shaping perceptions, identities, and cultural practices on a global scale. Ideoscapes refers to the circulation of ideologies, beliefs, and values, including religious fundamentalism, nationalism, and human rights discourses, which influence political movements and cultural identities worldwide. From a sociological perspective, Appadurai-Scapes theory highlights the complexities and dynamics of globalization, emphasizing the interconnectedness of social, economic, political, and cultural processes across diverse contexts. It underscores the importance of understanding how global flows intersect and interact to shape individuals' experiences, identities, and opportunities within the globalized world. By analyzing the movements and interactions within these scapes, sociologists can gain insights into the power dynamics, inequalities, and cultural transformations associated with globalization. World society theory, developed by sociologist John W. Meyer and his colleagues, posit that societies around the world are increasingly becoming interconnected and interdependent through the diffusion and institutionalization of global norms, values, and practices. At its core, world society theory views the world as a single social system, characterized by shared understanding and expectations that transcend national boundaries. According to this perspective, global institutions and networks play a crucial role in disseminating and promoting these shared norms and values, which encompasses ideas related to human rights, democracy, environmental sustainability, and education, among others. These global norms become institutionalized through the adoption of international treaties, agreements, and conventions, as well as through the activities of transnational organizations, advocacy networks. World society theory suggests that the spread of these global norms leads to the convergence of social structures and institutions across different societies. As a result, societies around the world began to resemble one another in terms of their organizational forms, cultural practices, and governance systems. This convergence process is driven by pressures for legitimacy and conformity to global standards, as well as by the desire of individuals and groups to participate in the global community. Critics of world society theory argue that it overlooks the role of power dynamics, inequalities, and cultural diversity in shaping global processes. However, proponents argue that it provides valuable insights into the dynamics of globalization and the emergence of shared global culture and identity. Overall, world society theory offers a sociological perspective on the interconnectedness and homogenizing forces at play in the global world.